Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. Today we're getting into another Hot Wheels unboxing and review. So this is the 2018 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Now, it has some extra decals on it, but I purchased this because it was very rare that I've ever come across a Demon before. I came across it one time that was yellow, and I mentioned the story one time I was doing a kind of breakdown of some of my collection in preparation for a larger breakdown I was gonna do. I think that I did that one live actually, maybe. But I had mentioned about how many years back I had bought my sons, I bought them a couple Hot Wheels and I bought them a yellow Dodge Demon. And I was, at first, I don't even know if I realized that it was the Demon. I don't remember. But then as I got into, getting my own collection, I already was buying a collection of Hot Wheels. So at that time, I was like looking at their car collection that I bought for them. And I'm like, most of them were either cars I didn't want or cars that I may have already had. And what happened was, let me just pause real quick just to see that this is part of the Hot Wheels drag strip line. Get dragged into some racing fun with these off the track speedsters. So what happened is I purchased, like I said, I purchased that one for them. And then later on, I was like, you know what? I needed a Demon in my collection. And I went looking for it thinking it would be no big deal because this is just a common car, it's a regular basic line. Shouldn't be hard to find. I couldn't find it anywhere. And back then, the stores used to have a bunch of Hot Wheels on the pegs, not like the way it is now. So many available cars, yet I couldn't find a Demon. So I ended up taking their Demon. They were too young to know the difference. So when I saw this one a couple years back, because I had this for a while now, I just never unboxed it, I was like, let me get that Demon because they're so hard to find. At least for me and in my area, they're always hard to find. And it wasn't a car that I was gonna be willing to go online and pay for, because even though I like the car, there are some cars where I'll go online and pay for them and you're paying like $5 for a car that's worth of $1. For me to do something like that, it's gotta be a car I really love, really love. But there's not a lot of cars I'll do that for because it's just, you don't wanna be spending like 5 times the price on Hot Wheels that you should. But seeing this one in store, I was like, let me get it because it's rare to have a Demon, at least for me in my area. So, yeah. So here we go. More of the old school kind of wheel cover designs or rims. But you can see here it's got the, what's that term? Staggered wheels. So the wheels in the back are wider than the front ones, which is nice because the Demon was like that. It needed a lot of traction because rear wheel with a lot of horsepower. And it's a clean look. Ram Chargers, original Ram Chargers. So what's nice about this, and I never really realized this, is that this is at least Dodge branding. So when we think of like a neutral branding, sometimes these things have like decals of like advertisement on them. This is branding of the company. So you could still consider it a pretty factory clean design in that regard because it's just, you know, branding from the actual company. You got Mopar on the side. So I think it looks nice. The underbelly, you got the exhaust back there. Sorry, let me adjust my lights a little bit so we can see this a little better. So you can see that there. So it's just really a nice car, like I said, and anyone who was familiar with when the Demon came out at that time, which I think later on was replaced by the Hellcat. When the Dodge Demon came out at the time, it was a big deal because no car had that level of horsepower. And on top of that, they weren't trying to compete with the other muscle cars in the aspect of the other muscle cars have always been known for the big engines, the horsepower, this and that, but they were always known for being in a straight line. And around this time frame, a lot of them were trying to now do the track focus thing, and they weren't great at it, but they were pretty good at it. They got pretty good, especially the Corvette ZR. Excuse me, the ZR1. If I don't have that mistaken, because I sometimes get that mixed up with the Corvette ZL1. I think I always get those names kind of mixed up, but the ZR1 for the Camaro and I think it was the Z28 for the Camaro, were all really good track cars, and they made them to track cars. With Dodge and the Charger, they pretty much Challenger. I'm sorry, I always get these names mixed up. Well, the Challenger. They said, forget about us trying to do this, sidewinding on a track. We're not trying to do that. We're gonna make you a superstar at being at a red light and then taking off when it turns green. And I always thought it was just so interesting. I found it appealing that they did that. That they were like, we're not gonna try to go down the same avenue everyone else is trying to go down. We're gonna go our own path. We're gonna stick to the classic muscle car way. And not to say there's a wrong way or right way, but they did that, and I always found that to be fascinating. And they doubled down in the area that it was strong at. And the truth is, not that, people should be necessarily racing down the streets, but if you were stoplight racing, it didn't matter if someone pulled up in some kind of Ferrari or whatever the case is. Like, yes, those are great. All those other supercars and they're great for on a track. But the Demon was like, I'm gonna bury everybody at a stoplight race. And I just thought that was interesting and was a fan of the idea of them doing that in terms of just doing their own thing. So as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.